So, what do Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, and Charlie Kirk have in common? The answer is that they are all what's called an autodidact. This is a word that not a lot of people have heard before, but so many people have been exposed to now in the absolute just explosion of interest in Charlie Kirk's work since his assassination. There's a ton of people that I've heard now use this term, and they'd never heard it before, and then they heard him use it in one of his videos. And simply, the term just means that someone is a self-learner. It means that they taught themselves most of what they know. Charlie was a great example of that. He didn't officially go to any colleges. He didn't get any degrees, any stuff like that. He doesn't have official education, but he was obviously incredibly knowledgeable and incredibly wise. And the same thing goes for Leonardo, for Benjamin, for Thomas Edison, for a bunch of these people throughout history. There's a ton of guys who have been incredibly knowledgeable and incredibly wise. And they were so solely because they had an insatiable love of learning, and they just chose to educate themselves regardless of having a formal education or not, whether they had an opportunity and chose not to, or they just were never given the opportunity, right? But so it's this idea that is so near and dear to my heart because I've been an autodidact my entire life. I have loved learning. I've had an insatiable curiosity for anything, right? So to see people start to understand and start to grasp this concept, which really is a new concept for a lot of people, that you don't have to be given permission to learn something. And you also don't have to have someone say and approve that you know something, right? You can simply go and learn about it through reading, through observation, through just thinking deep thoughts about something. And you can create an understanding of it within yourself that can then go out and be tested in the real world and be proven to be just as good, if not most of the time better, than the education that those who were officially educated happen to have, right? And this was something that Charlie just exemplified so well. He would talk to these people who were more educated than him, and anyone with half a brain listening would be like, dude, what do you like who cares about your stupid degree, dude? You know nothing. You know nothing about this topic, right? And so this has just been something that's super exciting to me to see that people are starting to grasp this idea that you can educate yourself in anything that you care about, any topic that you want. You can actually go out and just learn it for yourself and become proficient and even become expert in it without anyone guiding you through it, right? You can just follow your curiosity and do this. But if you are someone who has learned this term, who's decided like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want to be that. How do I become that? I have 3 pointers that I want to give you, right? The first is that you become an autodidact the moment you decide to become an autodidact. Right? The whole point of the thing is that no one needs to teach you anything or needs to confer anything to you. You can just go out and learn it. And the very first step that you take in that is deciding no one is going to crown you an autodidact. Like, you decide, I'm going to be a self-learner. I'm going to be someone who pursues knowledge of the things that are important and the things that are important to me. And I'm just going to start doing it, right? So you are this the moment you decide to be this. There's no magical, knighting ceremony that's going to happen where someone's going to be like, oh, and now you have joined the autodidact club, right? It's awesome because it's the club that you get to join the moment you decide that you want to join it. So as soon as you decide to be an autodidact, you are one. Right? So now that you've decided it though, how do you start walking it out? Where do you start? And the biggest thing that I want to encourage you in this is that there's too many good things to learn, right? And one of the ways that we get stuck is we look at every possible thing that we could learn, and there's all good things, like, right, just looking at like my life, it's like, well, I should learn about US history, and I should learn about government and about the Constitution, and I should learn about money and the fiat money system, and I should also learn about crypto because that's like the next thing, but then I should also like study about marriage because I'm married, and I should learn about being a man because being a man's a really big thing, and I should learn about how to raise a family because raising a family is a big thing, and also I should learn about foods and processed foods and healthy food and raw food and organic food, and also I should learn about water because water could be bad for you, like there's like fluoride in the water and stuff. And then also I should probably learn about like medicine because I should know first aid, right? I should be able to do that, but also I should be able to shoot. So I should probably like learn like tactics and all this kind of stuff like that. There's literally an endless number of things that are good things that you could start learning. So the moment that you decide, okay, I'm going to be an autodidact, I'm going to start learning this, the next thing that happens is you get massively overwhelmed with like, where do I start? Oh my gosh, there's an endless number of good things. And the answer is yes, there is an endless number of good things. So what you need to do, and part of what sustains being an autodidact, is following your curiosity, right? For people who are naturally this way, like myself or like Charlie, like, and if you read, oh my gosh, if you read about Leonardo da Vinci, like insatiable curiosity, right? He has this line in this book, Walter Isaacson's book about him is absolutely incredible. But in one of his journals, he has this note to himself that just says, describe the tongue of a woodpecker, as just like a to-do thing of like, oh, hey, don't forget, like at some point I want to describe the tongue of a woodpecker, and it's like, what? Like, what? But I read that and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. How does a woodpecker's tongue work? Like, is there something different about that I should know? Like, what the heck? Turns out there is all kinds of crazy stuff. But following curiosity is what sustains being an autodidact, right? So if you are not someone whose nature is to be insatiably curious, then the key to figuring out what good thing to follow next, right, is to look at the thing that you are the most curious about, or that you're curious about right now. And the thing to remember is that you don't have to, be like, okay, the next thing I'm curious about, is whatever, the founding of America, right? We're coming up on our 250th anniversary. So I'm really interested in the revolution and all that, right? You don't have to study the revolution until you become an expert in it. Okay? Like nobody's saying that. So what you can do is if you go, oh, like the next thing what I feel interested in right now is the revolution. Okay, go pick out some good books and read about that and study about that and start to dig into that for as long as you're interested in that. Okay. And then when that interest starts to shift and you start to notice, oh man, my curiosity is like leading me towards this other thing. Like that was really cool. But now I'm actually really kind of started to get interested in like the food thing and the whole food complex. And what does that even mean? And is it, is all this stuff that I'm hearing people say, is it true? Is it not? Like, I don't know. Then start to go read about that. The point of being an autodidact is not that you become an expert in everything. It's that you are constantly learning something new. Right? You're constantly pushing yourself beyond the realms of what you already know, and you're doing it willingly, and you're doing it by choice, and you're doing it joyfully, which is what was able to sustain it throughout the years of doing it, right? So you are one when you decide to be one. And then the first thing that you need to do when you start to study it is just choose the thing that interests you the most, right? And then the final point that I want to make is that the best way for you to go about deeply, truly learning something as an autodidact is to read books. There's so much to be said for different learning styles and for different ways of ingesting information and all this kind of stuff. I watch videos all the time. You've got all these online courses from people, all this stuff, right? But absolutely nothing beats reading an actual book. The amount of work that it takes to stimulate your mind to read the thing, the connection between the physiological side of it, of actually doing it, and the mental side and the stimulation of that, the way that reading ties into all of the different senses that you have, where you'll have memories tied literally to the smells of when you were reading a book. You have memories tied to where on the page certain things were that stuck out to you, what notes you took in the margin, right? Absolutely nothing compares to reading when it comes to deeply understanding the thing that you are studying. So the number one thing that I would encourage you to do is that as you are going and studying it, make reading the cornerstone of the way that you're studying. Again, all the different other styles, all the ways that people learn, all the stuff, it's all good. It's all somewhat mostly pretty valid. But what you cannot get around is that the most effective way is to read books. And if you study anybody who is just an autodidact that you would look up to, like Charlie, like Leonardo, like Benjamin Franklin, like any of these people, and especially more now, people, where they have access to the technologies to learn other ways, all of them will still tell you the best and most effective thing that you can do is still read an actual book. The work that it takes to read a book well makes your brain work harder, which makes you remember things longer and better. It's sucks sometimes, but the more strenuous the work, the more it changes things and the longer lasting the results. It's kind of like lifting weights. It's like, yep, you can do it with super light weights, but it's better if you do it with hard ones that are heavy, And so yeah, so that's my third thing is as you're going, whatever it is that you're learning, make reading physical books the cornerstone of that learning program that you have. So if you need some ideas for how to get started with some of those books, I've got lists out the wazoo. I'm going to list video here. I'll link other ones. You can look anywhere on my channel. I've got all kinds of recommendations for different books. And yeah, I think that's all I got for this one. So I'll see you in the next one.